proclamation. Worship is proclamation. Proclamation. When the Apostle Paul described the act of communion, which is one of the acts of worship, look what he said. As often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, you what? What's the word? You proclaim. You proclaim the Lord's death until he comes. So every time you receive communion, you are issuing a proclamation. You know what that proclamation is? I still believe. It's been a hard week, but I still believe. I'm battling an illness or a disease, but you know what? I still believe. The world seems crazy, but I still believe. And to whom are you making this proclamation? Well, you're making this proclamation to your family, perhaps, who sit around you. To your husband, to your wife, to your kids, to your parents. I'm still believing. I'm still believing. To your fellow congregants, we still believe. We still believe. To people you don't know, when they see you participate, you're saying, I still believe. To a cynical world, a sour world, you're saying, oh no, I still believe. To those saints who have gone ahead, that great cloud of witnesses that are watching down upon us, to the grandmother who prayed for you, to your parents who took you to church, to the neighbor who loved you but has gone into heaven, to them you're saying, I still believe. Even to God himself, or especially to God himself. You're saying, Lord, I know I'm not perfect, and I could have done better this week, but here I am. I still believe. I'm proclaiming the Lord's death until he comes. I'm proclaiming the power, the death, the burial, and the resurrection of Christ over my life. I receive his grace. I stand in his power. I accept his forgiveness. I proclaim his death. But you know to whom else you are making this proclamation? You are proclaiming this to the devil. To the devil. There is a devil. There are demons. There are spiritual forces. Every battle in life is first a spiritual battle. Every battle in life is a spiritual battle. And when you worship, you're telling Satan, get out of here. Here's a passage from the book of James. You're going to love this, especially this translation from James chapter 4, verses 7 and 8. So let God work his will in you. Yell aloud, no to the devil, and watch him scamper. Say a quiet yes to God, and he'll be there in no time. Isn't that a great verse? Yell aloud no to the devil. You want to give the devil a no? 1, 2, 3. No! And yell a quiet, or give a quiet yes to the Lord, and he'll be there in no time. 1, 2, 3, yes. Worship is yelling no to the devil and saying yes to God. It's that simple. You see, Satan will not long linger where God is praised. He hates our worship. It makes him puke. We know this because the whole reason he was cast out of heaven to begin with is that he wanted to be worshiped. He wanted to take God's place. And since no one is worthy of worship except God, Satan was cast out. But I tell you what, he's not only a fallen angel, he's a dumb angel. Because he's still trying to get people to worship him. And sadly, he succeeds. A lot of people worship the works of the devil. But when you worship, when you gather with a congregation, or when you take private time in your home or in your commute or wherever you are, when you worship, then you're saying yes to God. And Satan doesn't say. He says, okay, I'm giving up on that one. I'm moving over to some house where they don't do that. So if you want Satan to leave your house, turn your house into a house of worship. You want Satan to leave your cubicle, turn your little cubicle into a place of worship. You want Satan to leave that hotel room alone, then walk into that hotel room with earbuds or praise music or scriptures. Bless that room with worship. You see, worship is war. Worship is war. In fact, kind of my new phrase is, instead of saying, let's go to church, I tell Dylan, I say, okay, honey, time to go to war. because it's warfare. Yeah, it's pleasant. Oh, it's wonderful. Yes, it's upbuilding, but it's also spiritual warfare because we're fighting against the forces of evil. We're telling the devil to leave this part of the world alone, leave this house alone, leave this society alone. And he cannot resist it because he hates worship.